I'm Rolene Marks. It is my favorite time of the day again where I meet with you guys, my favorite people, for today's edition of the Israel Brief. The Israel Brief, as always, is brought to you by these guys, Lay of the Land. Now, you can't believe how many takes I've had to do with this today because people keep phoning me. So, let me try and get through this without any interruptions. It is day 285 of Israel's war with Hamas following the invasion and massacre of the 7th of October. To date, we have 120 hostages still held captive in the Gaza Strip. We need them home, and the issue of hostages is the dominating issue in today's edition of the Israel Brief. So let's start with our top story, and that is one that I spoke about yesterday, and that is the families of 5 of the young women taken hostage on the 7th of October, pictures of them released to the media. Now, the reason why these pictures have been released is to keep the pressure on the government, to keep the pressure on world leaders to ensure the immediate release of our hostages. We know that we have passed the 9-month mark. We know that our female hostages have routinely been sexually abused in captivity. We don't even want to contemplate what could be happening. So a couple of weeks ago, we saw the footage of the girls being taken hostage. Very, very distressing. And I must say, I was very, very, very distressed to see the pictures that I saw yesterday. 2 pictures were released. One shows 4 of the girls, Liri Albag, Daniela Gilboa, Karina Ariev, and Agam Berger, held in a room with a mattress, a few bottles of water. You can see the trauma, the distress on their face. Some of their faces are bruised. Some of the girls have injuries to their heads. They've got bandages and medical gauze on their head. According to the father of Naama Levi, she was held separate to them. The picture of Naama really distressed me. She is very pale and drawn. Her eye is swollen shut. It is bruised black and blue. I shudder to think what has happened to Naama. Naama, who we are all familiar with, pulled by her hair, her hands bound, bleeding from the crotch of her pants, bleeding from her shins that had been cut, and bleeding from her eye, which we now saw was injured. I don't even know, I can't even contemplate what these families must be going through. We heard from Shiri Albag, the mother of Liri Albag, earlier today, addressing the media, telling us that it is believed that the girls are being held in the tunnels, that they received signs of life early on in the war, but time is running out. We need to get them home now. Noa Argamani, who was rescued by our elite Yamam forces, Noa and her father will accompany Prime Minister Netanyahu as he flies to Washington next week to address Congress. However, the families of hostages have appealed to her, please not to go with the Prime Minister, that she has been taken advantage of. Now, there was a lot of criticism for the Prime Minister earlier today, where he, as part of a speech, said that the hostages, while they are under a lot of stress, are still alive. They are not dead. The family said they found this very, very hurtful, and the Prime Minister had to explain his comments. Prime Minister Netanyahu and elements of his coalition have taken a lot of criticism. Many believe that the Prime Minister is stalling this hostage deal, which would see a ceasefire for 42 days in order to secure the release of hostages, because he wants to ensure that his coalition stays intact. And there are members of his coalition from the far right who oppose this deal, saying there cannot be any kind of ceasefire under any circumstances. But we have to ask them the question, what would you do if it was your daughter? Human Rights Watch, a non-governmental organization, certainly not a friend to the state of Israel, have released a report. The report is called "I Cannot Erase the Blood from My Mind." Now, on the one hand, it is very, I don't know if positive is the right word, but it is a good thing that they've released this report, which exposes what they call hundreds of crimes against humanity committed by Hamas on the 7th of October, which includes defiling corpses, sexual violence, gender-based violence, wholesale slaughter, mutilation, torture, and kidnapping, as well as the looting of homes. However, the report does have some inaccuracies. They don't mention the complicity of civilians from the Gaza Strip who came through in that second wave. They say that the Gaza Strip is occupied territory. Gaza is not occupied. Israel withdrew unilaterally in 2005, and Gaza is ruled by Hamas. And they also say that Israel is employing policies of starvation. That has been roundly debunked by the NGO that monitors famine in war, and that Israel is withholding humanitarian aid. That has been debunked many, many times by several organizations, including COGAT, which is the unit responsible for ensuring humanitarian aid goes into the Gaza Strip. I would encourage people to read it, because it does expose the crimes against humanity, and I'm about three quarters of a way through. Very, very distressing. However, look at it with some degree of cynicism, because understand that Human Rights Watch are using this as a ploy to say, look, we are being very balanced, but still employ sanctions and arms embargoes against the state of Israel. You would think, after seeing the devastation, recording the devastation, they would understand why it is a necessity of Israel to defend ourselves. In fact, it is under international law, it's an obligation for the state of Israel to defend her citizens. So why call for sanctions and arms embargoes? The IDF said yesterday that they believe that 66% of Hamas fighters have either been eliminated or arrested. They've also said that they believe 75% of Hamas's rocket capability has been destroyed. The army went on to say that Hamas has been significantly weakened inside the Gaza Strip and that they are now in survival mode. They also indicated that they are feeling more and more confident that Mohammed Deif was eliminated in that pinpoint airstrike on Saturday, which killed the commander of Khan Yunis, Rafa Salame, who was responsible not only for helping to plan the 7th of October, but also for tunnel operations inside Khan Yunis. However, I must stress the army has not confirmed the death of Mohammed Deif, so let's wait until hopefully they do. And finally, Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant spoke with his counterpart, Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense for the United States, and they discussed, among many things, humanitarian aid, that humanitarian aid continues to go into the Gaza Strip. They also discussed that Israel will be setting up a field hospital for Palestinian children, and this is because Hamas have exploited the hospitals in the Gaza Strip, using them as a human shield, therefore drawing military response. The Defense Minister said the conditions are good for and probably the best they've ever been to secure the release of the hostages. However, in a private conversation with Israeli officials earlier today, he said that Israel has about 2 weeks to secure the release of hostages. He said after about 2 weeks, their fates are sealed, and I don't even want to contemplate what that could possibly mean. In the meantime, we are going to continue to make sure that they stay in the forefront of global consciousness. Now for today's viewer question, which is a doozy. It comes from Marion, And a reminder, if you guys want to ask me a question, please pop it in the comments section below or via our website. So the comment is, Rolene, why do they call Israel an apartheid state? I've been to Israel and I've seen Israel is anything but an apartheid state, so why the accusation? Great question, Marion, and so important. So the reason why those that seek the destruction of Israel call Israel an apartheid state is they want to create pariah status for the Jewish state. There is this concerted campaign of delegitimization to call into question Israel's right to be the nation state of the Jewish people. If anything, all the accusations they level against us, colonialism. Israel is the opposite of colonialism. We have returned to our ancestral and native homeland and done away with the colonization that it fell under. We've come from exile into freedom, into our nation state. They accuse us of apartheid. All of Israel's citizens have equal rights under the law. Is there racism in Israel? No more or less than any other country in the world. But it is not state legislated. Now, I grew up in apartheid South Africa. I bore witness to the crime against humanity that was apartheid. I live in Israel and I can testify to anybody that Israel is most definitely not an apartheid state. And of course, the accusation of genocide. The very definition of genocide, which by the way was introduced by a Jew to explain or to give a term to what the Holocaust was. Genocide is the stated aim to eradicate or eliminate a group of people. Now, I've just spoken to you about Israel sending in humanitarian aid, setting up hospitals, all the work that we do to ensure the safety and the security of Palestinians as much as humanly possible in a state of war. The only party that is committing genocide is Hamas. Hamas have got it in their charter. They have stated it again and again and again, and they've stated their intentions of committing the 7th of October again and again and again. So the next time you hear the accusations of apartheid, genocide and colonialism, I hope these definitions have helped you and given you the tools to answer those accusations. So now, a little bit of housekeeping. First of all, don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online, our Facebook page at Lottel Site. Our YouTube channel is right here at the Israel Brief. Please like, share and subscribe. We're on X at Lay of the Land 5. I'm Rolene Marks. I've made it through this broadcast without any interruptions. Thank you guys for your good company. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.